Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Coogan Cassius for IFLTV. We're in Dubai. Delighted to be joined by the new cruiserweight, bridgerweight champion, Mr. Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence, it's very warm here in Dubai.
Yeah, it is. No, it's beautiful. I love it. Get the sun in. It might be a bit too hot for walking around, but it's good to look at.
Absolutely. Well, it's been, 3 days since a very successful and a very short night for you in Poland. Were you contemplating it going that short, to be fair, one round?
I did say, I'd like to get it over in a round, but, now our whole game plan is just getting it every fight over in first round, if not first round, second round. That's what we've kind of been training for. You don't train for knockouts per se, but Joe's just been I'm too big, strong. I've got too many attributes to try and do some of the stuff that I've been doing. We just need to go in there and execute who you are. Big, strong, power puncher, go and do that.
Let's talk about the knockdowns in the fight. Talk me through
them. It kind of went pretty much exactly to plan. Obviously there was a lot of talk. The guy was undefeated, all knockouts in the first 4 rounds, most of them in the first round. And obviously the last fight I watched of him was him versus Babic. So going into the fight, we expected him to start really fast and come in with hooks and just give everything he has from round one. So we were kind of preparing to kind of meet fire with fire, as it were. But obviously when we got in there with the sort of range and sort of moves that I was making, he was struggling to get to grips with it. And then, I just started, obviously he's a shorter fighter, I started chopping the right hand over his jab, and I think that's how I dropped him with the first shot. I saw AJ do it against Ngannou, and I saw him doing it on the pads. And then this camp I was like, I wanna get that kind of shot off, and then I managed to, so it was good. That's the first one, and then the other ones, after I've hurt someone, I'm always pretty good at, getting them out of there that same round, if not the round after, so yeah.
How did you find fighting at that weight? Obviously something new to you, new to a lot of people. That kind of gap between cruiser and heavy. How did you find that? A lot of talk for years about you, obviously, which we'll come on to, about you going to heavyweight, but just throughout your camp, how did you find, obviously, adjusting to that weight?
It wasn't an adjustment, because it's about what I walk around at. I mean, I was actually a little bit heavier than at the start of camp, so I had to obviously lose weight to make the championship weight. But yeah, it felt good. That's kind of the weight that I usually spar at. It's the weight I was probably a weight that I'm most comfortable at, really. So it's just a natural, like the whole fight week felt very different, because I could do stuff like I could rest. You meant to taper off. At cruiserweight, there was no way I could taper off, because I wouldn't be able to make 90 kilos. With this fight, we weighed in at 100. I was probably in the ring 108 kilos. So, it felt very, very different. I felt filled, strong, and when I was first turned pro, my first few fights, and I was there, explosive and stuff like that. It's the same feeling, because I was a bit smaller because I was younger. So now I feel fueled up. I feel within myself, if that makes sense. So I felt really good.
Let's talk about the title itself. Obviously, WBC governed the bridgerweight title. I see people kind of giving you a bit of stick because it's not governed by the other bodies. But for yourself, as winning that title, which is still relatively new, how do you see that?
I don't see it as anything. I got the beautiful green and gold belt, which obviously, we've seen the recent Canelo's, Mayweather's, Muhammad Ali's, Mike Tyson's, Lawrence Okolie's. So it's good, you know what I mean? I love it. Getting in there. I know, like I said, I got the pictures and stuff that are going to last test of time. And, a lot of weight classes, it's the same as that thing. It's like, obviously, if you know boxing, it started off with 4 or 5 weight classes, and now there's, 12, 13. So it's like, as humans change and, we get a little bit better understanding with science and the risks of someone, being 90 kilos and then going up to maybe box 115. It's a good gap. So yeah, I love it. And also I think it's all about getting names and good fights. You look at if this weight class was around a bit earlier, the likes of Usyk, Deontay Wilder, a lot of the top heavyweights would probably have campaigned at this and then maybe gone up to heavyweight. So, like I said, I'm just happy to be part of something starting up.
I suppose one of the questions is the pool of fighters available to you in the weight category. Is that going to be an issue if you want to stick at this weight?
No, I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of people who are in my position who were cruiserweights who struggle to make the weight, need to move up. There's a lot of heavyweights who might not be the super-sized heavyweights that need sort of like a opportunity and stuff like that. So there's loads. I think, as we said, the likes of Usyk, who just beat Fury last week, he weighed in at about what Bridgeweight is. You've got the likes of Deontay Wilder. So depending on what happens with him and Zhang and what, there's loads of opportunities. Especially you get someone like myself as a champion and who's up for fights and got enough of a name to make fights with any of these guys. It's just a matter of time.
One of the options that could be a possibility is Kevin Lerena. Talk to me about that. Obviously, as fans, we've seen Kevin Lerena box Daniel Dubois, etc., and Justice Hooney recently in Saudi Arabia. That a definite possibility?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been ordered. I mean, WBC needs to order it properly, but I think it's pretty much been ordered. So unless like a unification or a big opportunity comes up at heavyweight, we'll do that. Like it really depends. As I said, I like Kevin. I think he's basically a fully fledged heavyweight, so he's a good sort of not to discredit him or whatever, because he's obviously a good fighter. We've all seen him, but he's like a good benchmark for like going up to heavyweight anyway. So I could deal with him and then move on.
How long do you see yourself at this weight before the question you've had since you turned pro? When's Lawrence turning heavyweight?
It could happen at any time. As in, the weight that I am now is pretty much what I'd be at heavyweight. I wouldn't really put on much more weight. So if opportunity comes up at heavyweight, which, like I said, I'm up for. There's not really any fight. I mean, you can ask Eddie, ask Ben, ask any trainer that I've had. There's never a time I say no. I mean, if you just look at my record from amateur to professional, I never say no to fights. That it comes with good and bad. With the lack of experience, sometimes it's caused some stinkers and stuff like that. But ultimately, as a career, I go in against the best people that I can. I mean, going back to my last 2 fights, I went to Poland against the undefeated 90+% ratio fighter, went and got the victory there as a world champion. Went to Bournemouth to another person's backyard to have a fight there. So I like when no one else would do it. So it's like I make the best fights that I possibly can, because for me boxing isn't like about I'm undefeated or I'm this. It's about having the best fights I can and just enjoying it. I don't enjoy it when I know I'm gonna go in and beat someone easy. I enjoy it when I'm in training camp and I have the butterflies. I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit this. I'm a bit that. So yeah. I don't even know if I answered your question, but that's that.
There is a fight taking place in 3 weeks' time, which I'm sure you'll take an interest in on the 15th of June with Chris William-Smith and Richard Riakporhe. You can answer both these questions in the same. Who's your favourite in that fight? And is William-Smith still on the radar for a rematch at some point in your career? Not for the immediate, but at some point.
I don't know which one to answer, but which one I don't really know who's going to win. I think that on paper you would say Chris, because Riakporhe still hasn't boxed anyone of any note or in their peak yet, so we don't know what he's really made of. And with Chris, the problem is he does get caught quite often, although I wasn't able to get a stoppage. Riakporhe has enough power that if he does land, he could get it done. So it's one of those ones where anyone could win that fight. And then, it depends. If they want to come up to Bridgerweight and have a go, then yeah, absolutely. I think obviously me and Chris would be a completely different fight at the heavier weight, where I don't have to drain myself to make the weight, punching a lot harder and just feeling a lot better in general within camp. And same with Riakporhe. It's just like I don't think he really wants to fight anyway. But so whichever one of them wins, if they felt like coming up, yeah, why not?
Just want to go back to obviously about 5 or 6 days prior to your fight, obviously in Saudi Arabia. We saw Alexander Usyk become undisputed champion heavyweight, well publicised, 25 years in the making. Who did you back before the fight? What did you think of the fight? What did you think of round 9?
I backed Fury to win. I thought that he would win potentially on points, or like if he dominated, he might get a late stoppage. But you know, I thought that the fight was going in that direction until Usyk caught him with some good shots in the middle round, and I heard that it caused damage. And then obviously that round was massive. But I don't think one round wins a fight. I did think that Usyk did win the fight, but I think that that one round was obviously so big because Fury didn't go down, so he's being hurt like all over the ring, so it just looks really dramatic. And then after you get that kind of round, in the subsequent rounds, even if it's close, you're going to look towards and favour the person that's put on a great sort of moment. So I can see why that would definitely lean the judges in that direction.
I mean, we want to see a rematch for that as fans. I'm sure that's what Tyson Fury will do. There's all sorts of complications with the IBF situation, which also has relevance to Dubois and Hrgovic, who are fighting this week as well. Yeah, you're looking forward to the 5v5 as well. There's some very interesting fights. Obviously, Wilder on that as well. Yeah, you're looking forward to that?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm going to go there as a fan and also on a scouting mission. I think that there's a lot of top heavyweights there. You've got the likes of Wilder, who's heavy/Bridgerweight, in my opinion. And I think that, yeah, there's some fights that could be made for me that are in that tournament at the moment. So, yeah, I look forward to it.
Wilder, you've mentioned his name a few times. That could be a possibility then. Would it matter about whether it was at Bridger or at heavy?
Not particularly, but I mean, obviously, when there's a world title opportunity at play, I think it's always better when there's a belt on the line. He was WBC heavyweight champion, so he'll probably want to box for a WBC belt. Yeah, I think why not? I mean, and also it's also about the weight. Someone like Zhang is never going to make Bridgerweight, but someone like Wilder weighs in at Bridgerweight. Same as Usyk. If Usyk decides he wants to be a free weight world champion, and I don't know how many belts there are in the Bridgerweight yet, but you know, there's opportunity for that as well.
Yeah, you fancy that with Usyk?
I do fancy that. I just feel like everyone else in Britain has had their shot. You know what I mean? I wanna go and I want to test it. I mean, it might sound crazy to other people, but I look at him and I just think he's sensational, very, very talented. But you know, I have attributes that he hasn't had to box against for a long time, including speed and stuff like that. So I'd love that if he feels like a legacy, you know, free weight world champion. I'm 2-weight world champion now. If he feels like being free weight, let's do it.
That would definitely be interesting. You've only had one round, so I'm assuming that part of you, after you've taken a little bit of time off, that you want to kind of get a plan in place, which you probably already have, your team has, to get back in the ring now.
Yeah, I think that as we've seen from Saudi, all of the fighters are performing at their best that we've ever seen them. You know, the likes of Dan Dubois, the likes of Anthony Joshua, everyone's just performing at peak because they're active. So for me, I want to get in there. I think that, like, you know, the last couple of years there has been a bit of inactivity, and I kind of want to get rid of that. So yeah, there's a plan in place, but fortunately I'm in a strong position with being a 2-weight world champion, mandatories are being called, opportunities already popping up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future.
Okay, well listen, Lawrence, thank you very much. Congratulations on a great win for you in Poland, capturing the WBC Bridgerweight title. Have you got anything else you'd like to add before we finish?
Not right now, you know, just going to enjoy this week off, and then yeah, well, not for a week, I'm going to, you know, take over, but yeah, I'm ready to kind of get cracking. And I think that, you know, I enjoy the difference. That's one thing I would say between getting good looking knockout wins compared to, you know, some of the other stuff that I've been through. So, you know, I'm pushing to kind of, like I said, every round from round 1 till whenever fights end, I'm keeping that same kind of energy going forwards. So yeah, that's it.
Lawrence, thank you very much for your time, and we'll definitely catch up with you probably in Saudi Arabia this week.
Be good. Thank you. See you there.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.